Gemini. The truth they hide from everyone. 5 dark revelations. Gemini is not confusing by accident. There is a reason they see the world in ways others never will. They've been called two-faced, manipulative, unreliable. But what if I told you these labels exist because people fear what they cannot understand? Today, I'm revealing the truths about Gemini that most people are not ready to hear. Some will find this uncomfortable. Others will finally feel seen. But one thing is certain. After this video, you will never look at Gemini the same way again. Let's begin. Throughout history, Gemini has been associated with duality, intelligence, and hidden intentions. In ancient mythology, the Gemini twins Castor and Pollux represented immortality and mortality, light and shadow, the divine and the human. But what most don't realize is that this sign carries a psychological depth that can either elevate or destroy. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication, thought, and movement. But Mercury was also the messenger of the gods and the guide of souls to the underworld. This means Gemini exists between worlds. They can speak your language. They can mirror your energy. They can make you feel understood like no one else can. But beneath that charm, beneath that quick wit and endless curiosity, there is something far more complex, something most people never see. And that's exactly what we're uncovering today. 5 dark revelations about Gemini that will change everything you thought you knew. Revelation number 1. The mask Gemini wears. Let's start with the most misunderstood trait of Gemini, the mask. People call them fake. They say Gemini has multiple personalities, that you never know which version you're getting. But here's the truth they won't tell you. Gemini doesn't wear a mask to deceive you. They wear it to survive. From a young age, Gemini learns that the world is unpredictable. People change, situations shift. And if you stay the same, you get left behind. So Gemini adapts. They observe before they act. They study your energy, your words, your intentions, and then they mirror what feels safe. This isn't manipulation. This is emotional intelligence at its highest form. Think about it. Gemini enters a room and instantly reads the energy. They know who's angry, who's pretending, who's genuine, and they adjust accordingly. But here's where it gets dark. Gemini shows you what you want to see until they decide you're worthy of the real them. And most people never get there because Gemini has been betrayed before. They've been misunderstood, judged, abandoned. So they built walls made of humor, intellect, and surface-level connection. You think you know them. You don't. That funny, charming, easygoing person you see? That's version 1.0. The real Gemini, the one who feels everything deeply, who overthinks every word, who carries the weight of 1,000 thoughts. That version is hidden, and they only reveal it when they trust you completely. So if a Gemini has ever let you in, consider yourself rare. Because most people will spend their entire lives knowing the mask, but never meeting the soul beneath it. Revelation number 2. Why Gemini knows your weaknesses. Now let's talk about something that makes people deeply uncomfortable. Gemini knows your weaknesses before you even realize you have them. How? Because Gemini doesn't just listen to your words. They listen to what you don't say. They notice the pause before you answer, the slight change in your tone, the way your energy shifts when a certain topic comes up. Gemini sees patterns in behavior that others completely miss. While most people take things at face value, Gemini is analyzing, connecting dots, reading between the lines. And here's the scary part. They remember everything. That thing you said 3 months ago, Gemini remembers. That contradiction in your story? They caught it. That moment you tried to hide your emotions. They saw right through it. This is why Gemini can be so disarming in conversation. They ask the right questions. They make you feel safe. And before you know it, you've told them things you've never told anyone. But this ability comes with a price. Because once you see people this clearly, you can never unsee it. Gemini knows who's lying, who's pretending, who's using them, who's genuine, and this creates a loneliness most people can't imagine. Imagine walking through life seeing everyone's hidden motives, insecurities, and masks. Imagine knowing that most people aren't who they pretend to be. That's Gemini's reality. They're not cold, they're not heartless. They're just exhausted from seeing too much. And when someone asks why Gemini keeps people at a distance, it's not because they don't care. It's because they care too much. And they know most people aren't ready for that level of truth. Revelation number 3. The silent fear inside Gemini. Here's what no one talks about. Gemini's greatest fear is not death, it's not failure. It's stagnation. Gemini is terrified of being trapped mentally, emotionally, physically. They need movement, they need stimulation. They need to feel like they're growing, learning, evolving. And when that stops, Gemini starts to die inside. This is why Gemini can't stay in situations that drain them. Why they walk away from jobs, relationships, friendships that feel limiting. People call them flaky, unreliable, commitment phobic. But the truth is, Gemini is not running from commitment. They're running from soul death. There's a difference. Gemini will commit to anything that allows them to be free. Free to think, free to explore, free to be themselves. But the moment they feel caged, whether by routine, expectations, or someone else's need to control them, they're gone. And here's the second fear that haunts Gemini, the fear of being misunderstood. Gemini has a million thoughts running through their mind at any given moment. Ideas, possibilities, perspectives. And when they try to explain it, people often look at them like they're crazy. Why are you overthinking this? Why can't you just pick one thing? Why do you always have to complicate everything? These words cut deeper than people realize. Because Gemini isn't trying to be difficult. They're trying to be understood. And when they're not, they retreat into their own mind, where no one can hurt them. If this is resonating with you, if you're finally feeling seen, or if you're starting to understand the Gemini in your life, make sure you're subscribed. This channel reveals the hidden truths of astrology that most people never talk about. We go beyond surface-level horoscopes. We dive into psychology, shadow work, and the deeper layers of each sign. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a revelation. Now, let's continue. Revelation number 4. The dark side of Gemini's intelligence. Let's talk about something most people don't want to admit. Gemini's words can heal or destroy. We all know Gemini is brilliant with communication. They can make you laugh, inspire you, teach you, comfort you. But when Gemini is hurt, when they've been betrayed, disrespected, or pushed too far, that same intelligence becomes a weapon. Gemini knows exactly what to say to cut you where it hurts most. They don't need to yell. They don't need to get physical. One sentence is enough. Because Gemini doesn't attack your body. They attack your sense of self. They'll expose your hypocrisy. They'll point out your contradictions. They'll make you question everything you thought you knew about yourself. And the worst part, they'll do it calmly, logically, with surgical precision. This is the shadow side of Gemini that people fear. Because most people use anger as a weapon. Gemini uses truth. And truth, when wielded by someone who sees everything, is the most dangerous weapon of all. But here's what you need to understand. Gemini doesn't want to be this way. They don't enjoy hurting people. In fact, it drains them. But after being underestimated, betrayed, or manipulated one too many times, Gemini learns that sometimes the only way to protect themselves is to show people exactly who they're dealing with. And once Gemini decides you're not worth their energy, you're invisible to them, not because they hate you, but because they've already moved on mentally. And that indifference, that's the real goodbye. Revelation number 5. The secret power that makes Gemini unstoppable now. Let's end with the truth that makes Gemini truly unstoppable. Their ability to adapt, evolve, and see reality from multiple perspectives. While most people are stuck in one way of thinking, Gemini exists in all of them simultaneously. They can see your point of view. They can see the opposite. They can see the gray area most people miss. This makes them incredible problem solvers, strategists, and creators. Gemini doesn't just think outside the box. They question why the box exists in the first place. And this is why Gemini is so good at reinventing themselves. They're not afraid to change, to let go of old versions of themselves, to walk away from what no longer serves them. Because Gemini understands something most people refuse to accept. Nothing is permanent. Everything evolves, and clinging to the past only stops your growth. This is Gemini's superpower. They can be anyone, do anything. go anywhere, not because they're scattered or lost, but because they understand that life is not meant to be lived in one dimension. Gemini is the sign of infinite possibility. And when they finally stop apologizing for who they are, when they stop dimming their light to make others comfortable, they become unstoppable. Gemini is not meant to be understood by everyone. They are here to question reality, break patterns, and evolve consciousness. They are the thinkers, the communicators, the ones who see what others refuse to acknowledge. And yes, that makes them complicated, misunderstood, sometimes lonely. But it also makes them free. If you're a Gemini watching this, I want you to know you are not too much. You are not confusing. You are not broken. You are exactly who you're meant to be. And the people who are meant for you will never ask you to be less. And if you love a Gemini, understand this. They will challenge you. They will make you think. They will never be easy. But they will also show you a version of life you never knew existed. And that is a gift. If you want to understand astrology on a deeper, psychological, and spiritual level, if you want more revelations like this, subscribe to Astrological Revelations right now. We release new content every week that goes beyond the surface and into the soul of astrology. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the notification bell. And drop a comment below telling me, are you a Gemini or do you know one? What revelation hit you the hardest? I'll see you in the next one.